Hello, I'm just going to show you how to finish off your Stargazer lily. We're going to start off with doing the bud. So hopefully you should have either your polystyrene or your sugar paste bud on a quite sturdy wire. You'll need 4 petals and we're going to use them that way up. And this is a rose petal cutter, so you could use one of the 5 blossom cutters and cut them out from there, or you could draw a template. And what we're going to do is to stick them on like that, so that the tip is slightly proud from the surface of your bud, and you place them in 4s like this, and you're going to glue the edges of your petals together. It will all come clear as I start to do it. So some glue to start with in the centre of your petal to stick it onto your bud. A little bit of glue now along the edge of that petal, and then some glue in the centre of your next petal. So you then place that, you're almost making like a little box of petals really, and then pinch your seam of your 2 petals together so that you've got like a little ridge like that. And then you're going to do that again until, as I said, you've created like a box of petals. So glue in the centre, glue along one of the edges, place that on and pinch it together. You don't really want the tip of your petals coming together, so that's like your opening of your bud. And then your last petal is going to go on. Again, glue. This time you need it on both petals that are on there. Give yourself room to place that in. Place that on and pinch down the edge. Like that. So you've got 4 ridges of your petals. Leave that to dry. You also, if you've got anything open at the bottom, you just cut a little star of sugar paste, a little bit of glue on it, thread it on just to cover the base, and then leave that to dry. You then also need to make 2 large leaves and 4 smaller leaves. Now the leaves on the lily come out in pairs opposite each other. So it's exactly the same as you see in principle as how you made the individual petal. You have your twizzle stick on your wire that you've glued on, cut out your leaf shape, place that down onto your veiner. I've used, I think this is a tea rose veiner, just because it's got a really nice deep vein running through it. So you place the 2 together, pop the lid on, give it a good press, and your twizzle disappears and your leaf is magically on your wire. Now you want these to dry with a bend, so give them a bend like that while they're still wet, and then leave them to dry in a cupped surface. So the good old fruit packaging comes in a treat. You can just leave it to dry like that. I'm just going to go through dusting the petal, because what you need for the petal is some green, some yellow and some pink. I'm using quite a a bright pink, but doesn't really matter, you pick the shade that you want. So we're starting at the base. Hold your petal from the wire and with your brush, just brush down with your green towards the wire so that you're sort of doing that inner throat of the petal. Then you want to pick up some yellow, using the same brush is absolutely fine, and just go slightly higher from that green and blend it down into the green like that. And then a little bit of your yellow just on the tip of your petal like that. Then you want a different brush, pick up your pink, and holding it this way up now, you're going to go down the centre of your petal. Don't go all the way to the edges because it does sort of have a white edge, and you can go as dark or as light as you want with the pink. And also just run your pink brush down the edge of the petal. And it just picks it up, picks up the colour. You then want either your edible felt tip, or if you're only just doing this for practice, just a normal felt tip will be fine. And you are going to draw some of those little sort of dots that you see on the petal, like that. You then want to just set this dust, so you just waft it very quickly through the steam of a kettle, and that will set the dust on your petal. Your leaf, which I have over here, you want to actually dust that once your leaf is dry, dark green, and perhaps get some of the paler green to go down, just brush it down the middle in the centre veins. Your bud, when your bud is dry, I'll show you on this one, which we have wired together. You put, sorry, can't really see. Put some yellow and pink down into the centre where it is open. Brush the centre of those ridges with some pink, and it will go slightly over onto the petal as well, so that's fine. So you do that for the top half of your ridge, the bottom half of your ridge, starting at the base with green, cover the base with the green dust, and then bring it up to that, meet that pink. You also then want to waft the whole of that bud in a kettle steam as well. Now when we go to put this all together, you should have your bunch of stamen with that centre green, and that is standing slightly prouder, and you will tape those together in a bunch, making sure that you've got about 2 centimetres of your white wire sticking out underneath before the tape starts. Then start by placing in one of your petals against that bunch where the tape starts, and then you want to do it in 3s. So we've started with this one, then we're going to go for this one, and then this one. So that's in the 3. Then your next layer, so you'll have 3 petals and your stamens. Your next layer is filling in the gaps basically. You want to actually bend your wire back so that those petals, can you see them on that second layer, are slightly more horizontal against your stem, and they fill in the gaps in between those petals. Once you've wired and taped all that in together with some floristry tape, you then want your 2 first pair of small leaves, and they come out opposite each other. It's a bit tricky to see. There we go, you can see there, they're coming out opposite each other. And then on that flower, I've then put my next pair of leaves, and they're coming out perpendicular to that first pair. So they're opposite each other, but they're perpendicular to that first set. And then I've put a pair of small leaves on the bud as well. So I haven't actually dusted these leaves yet because this was for the demonstration on how to wire it together. I also ran a wire, a more firm wire all the way down, which I taped on so that we can then put that in a vase. So there is our Stargazer lily. So good luck, and I hope it looks something like that when you've put it together. Bye bye.